In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to put together the Otto do-it-yourself DIY builder kit. This is the beginner kit. According to this, it's version 9, and they say it's going to take an hour. Will it take an hour, or is it going to be fight, and see how long it takes? All right, to start with, they give you a bunch of different parts. Let's go over them. There's the top of the robot, and the bottom, and the feet, the left and right feet, and the left and right legs, and then a switch. I guess that's the on and off switch. That's the microphone, because Otto's supposed to be able to hear things like music. This is Otto's eyes, or otherwise known as a ultrasonic sensor. Some wires, 4 servo motors. These are micro servo motors. They look like kind of cheap ones, 4 of them. These are their servo horns, 4 bags of them, 1 for each motor. And this looks like the microcontroller, and this looks like the interface board and a battery box so it can get some power. All right, that's all the parts that came in this kit. This kit was ordered from Amazon. I'll have the link below so you can order it too. Hopefully it will be a lot of fun. It'll do all the things they say it will. And see if we can put it together in an hour and hopefully program it in less than that. Okay. Oh, and also a bag of 4 tiny, oops, that's not it, 4 very tiny little screws. Okay. Okay, so we're ready to start building here. I got myself 2 screwdrivers, 1 small screwdriver, 1 jeweler's screwdriver. For those small screws in the bag here, I will probably need the little screwdriver. All right, instructions say, and I'm getting all this from the instructions, take your motors, take one of the motors and put it in here. It doesn't really tell you, it says take both of the motors. Let's see. I guess because it fits like, there's this little loop thing, I guess that fits right through, and oh, right through it. Look at that. Isn't that great? It's not a tight fit, but okay. It's going to have to go in further. In other words, it will be a tight fit as soon as it gets through the little keyhole there. It's not going through the keyhole. Oh! Is it in? I think it's in. I think a little bit of force got it in. Okay, let's get the number 2 in there. And here's number 2. Put the little notch there to match the other notch. And turn it upside down so we can see what we're doing. And as before, we're going to fit it in the hole there and put a little pressure. Okay, a lot of pressure. I'm putting a hell of a lot of pressure on that. Okay, and God, they made this just a millimeter too small. Okay, that's still not going in. Son of a gun. Maybe I'm just not lining it up. Okay, well, that's the best I can do. I may have to drill this out. It's just not going in. Oh, gosh. I'm pushing and it ain't going. Oh, nope, still not in. Okay, leave the camera running because we're timing this to see how long it takes. I'm going to get a drill bit and try to make that hole a little bit bigger. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I may not have a drill bit that size, so we're going to have to do the best we can. I'm checking now to see maybe I have one of these. That will be just a tiny bit bigger than this hole. Nope, that's a 3/8. Do I have a quarter? 5/8 would be way too big. Okay, so I'm going to take this thing and grind it a little bit. Okay, hopefully I didn't take too much off. Looking like a kit that works well. Sarcasm, yes, that's sarcasm. Okay, this goes in there. And is it going to fit in this time? Yes. Even then it, oh, no. Yes, no. It almost fit in. Looks like I'm going to have to make this son of a gun a little bit bigger. And we try yet again. Maybe something else is blocking this. It just doesn't want to go in right. The other one went in right. This one doesn't want to go in. All right, we make it even bigger. And we try yet again. It was certainly off by a lot, because now it's in properly. So, wonderful. That was step one. Didn't take too long, did it? Okay, I'm going to look at step two. I'm reading from the instructions. They're downloadable from their website. This is the Otto DIY Manual version 9 PDF. Okay, step two. Well, of course, we're going to use the little pointy screws to screw these things into Otto. So, we open up a bag. We open up a bag of servo horns and screws. We open up a second bag of servo horns and screws. We get out two of the pointy screws here. These are the bigger ones, and we're going to try our regular screwdriver, and that is too big. We're going to try our, and you know what? We need to magnetize this guy. Let's see, do I have a magnet here? Let me try this one. This one may already be magnetized. Yes. Okay. So, you got that? Why don't you turn the light on? No, this light. Just do that. Okay, ready? Okay, can you get in there? Can you see that? Okay, and we're going to tighten that down. Come from the top. One. You want to over tighten it or it will strip out, and that won't be good. if you don't have a magnetized screwdriver, take a screwdriver that you do have and a strong magnet, you know, those kind that you stick on the refrigerator, and run it across the tip of the screwdriver a whole bunch of times. I don't have a magnet handy, but if my finger were a magnet, you would do like this, and that'll make the tip of the screwdriver magnetic like this one is. Okay, 2 down, 2 to go. It helps with the real tiny screws. Three down, 1 to go. Now, I usually build life-size robots. So this is one of the tiniest robots that I am building in a long while. And this actually uses an Arduino microcontroller. If you haven't used or know about Arduinos, look them up. They're made in Italy. It was designed by somebody in Italy, and they make building and programming robots a whole lot easier. And after this, assuming I did get this working, keep your camera over here. I have this other robot here. I call this the Barefoot Walker. And the Barefoot Walker is, I'm going to change him around so he's more like an Otto. That'll be the Barefoot Otto. But that's not today. Okay, step 3, let's look at step 3. So they want me to clip off the second hole on, so we're going to take 2 of our servo horns. We're going to clip off the second hole on one side and the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth hole on the other side. 2 and 5. Okay. So I assume we cut those with a scissor or a... I have a wire cutter here somewhere. I'm going to cut it with a wire cutter. It's easier than a scissor. Okay, so it looks like they're equidistant. So we're going to cut all the way up to this hole on this side. I'm going to leave 2 there just in case, because it looks like they're leaving 2 on the picture. And here they're cutting off the middle of the second one. The middle of the second hole. 1, 2. And you might want to be real careful you get this right, because if you don't, you'll be scrambling to get another servo horn. Now I have hundreds of them in my house, so that wouldn't be my problem, but for most of you it would be. And we're going to do the same for this one. I'm going to cut this just above the second hole from the inside. Okay, and it says grab the legs. So I got the legs, the 2 legs, and put these, turn them upside down and put these in the bottom, facing down. Okay, so we're going to put them in the bottom facing down. They look like 2 little crosses, good in case you have vampires around. Okay, we put one in the one side, just press it in. Luckily this fit, not like the other one. And put the other one in the other side. I don't know, maybe I didn't cut this. I think that needs to be trimmed a little bit more. I'll trim this, give this a bit more of a trim here. Try again. If at first you don't succeed, well, blame somebody. I mean, try again. All right, we got the legs in. And I'm still reading from the instructions. This is step 4. It says there's a caution symbol, an exclamation point. I have no idea what that means. It looks like you twist and drop. I haven't a clue what they meant. Okay, so we take the bottom, like I'm looking at the picture here. We take this, oops, wrong way. Let's put them in the same position as the picture. If you've got the picture, the PDF, go work along with me. Open your PDF. Okay, we're going to put this on here. And it looks like it says 180 degrees. I have no idea what that means. Oh, and this one's upside down. The cross is upside down. The high point of the center of the cross, that goes down. I had it up. Well, no wonder it fit so well. Turn it around and it doesn't want to fit at all. These instructions are faulty. All right, I'm going to cut this a little bit more. Yay, it fits, kind of. It still doesn't fit. I'm going to try pushing it down with a screwdriver. Does that work? No, it's off. Boy, this is a pain in the rear. That is off. I'm going to have to trim it the bottom again. I'm assuming I got it the right way, right? Yes. Yes, that's the right way, but 3D printing is never very accurate, and these parts are all 3D printed. I didn't print them. So we're going to trim the bottom off of this one more time. Okay, turn it over properly. I thought that went in too easily. Aim it, and that's it. Okay. Good. Okay, that's... So I don't know what they mean by 180 degrees, so I'm going to put one on here and see if it turns like it says 180 degrees. Well, that doesn't work at all. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't even connect. That doesn't connect either. This is a crappy... print job. It doesn't work. You know what? There may have been a change here because this piece looks a lot different than... There seems to have been a change here. That's not cut out for a cross. Let me look at the prior instructions. Yeah, this is a different print than the print I have. Very different. It looks like they need this kind of a servo. God, this doesn't fit either. So, that didn't work. I'm trying this servo, which looks more like what would fit there. I trim this off. I don't know how far. I'm going to try cutting off one little bit and put it in. Not enough. Going to try to cut off another little bit. Put it in. That went in. Tap to focus, and then you can raise the light. tap and drag, it makes it brighter or dimmer. You know, okay. All right, so that works. So these instructions, version 9, do not match what I got in the mail. And I got this model with absolutely, this robot with no instructions at all. 0 instructions came with this thing. They want you to go online. Well, I went online and it doesn't work. Okay, let me get the other servo from the bag. And I'm going to trim it. I'm going to take this out and compare it. So I make them the same size because it seemed to fit really well. So I left 1, 2, 3, 4 holes on it and cut off between the 4th and 5th hole. Basically cutting off 2 of the holes. And this is a guess. I don't even know if this is right. I won't know till I'm done and it works. Okay, we're going to drop this in place. Remember this raised edge here goes down so it can connect with the hip motors. I'm going to call these the hip motors. I don't know what they're officially called. The instructions have no words. Okay, that one's in. That one's back in. I've got the legs ready, the hip assembly ready, and I'm ready for step 4. Oh, yes, that's where we were before, 180 degrees. Okay, so we're going to try this on here. Yes, it connects now. So pointing these doohickeys away from you, with this opening towards you, they say you should be able to turn it 180 degrees left and 180 degrees right. Let's try that again. So that's from here to here. Okay, we are there, so we're good. So we're going to try the other side. That don't want to turn at all. There we go. Okay, 180 degrees that way and 180 degrees that way. Okay, we're good on both sides. This motor's kind of sticky. Let's see what step 5 looks like. Step 5. Okay, we're going to screw these 2 legs in place. We're going to do that by taking these tiny, tiny screws from the servo motor bag, putting them on our magnetic screwdriver, coming through the top of the leg, and going into the top of the servo motor. Don't over tighten, or you'll be buying yourself a new servo motor. So if you look at it, you've attached this servo motor to the leg. You should be able to turn the leg. Wonderful. And now I'm going to take the second one, put it on top as before. Oh, I have this backwards. Can you see that? I pop that thing out. I tell you, and I don't. Wait, it's all right. Oh, I guess it just wasn't sitting low enough. All right, try it again. Got a little battery here. I have to charge it while we're doing this. Okay, so the servo horn is in place. They call these servo horns because they kind of look like a horn. Except when there's 2 of them, then they look more like a propeller. But the ones I use for this definitely look like a horn. Okay, so that fit just fine. We grab the screwdriver and the itty-bitty screw. It's the only one remaining for each of them. And we put it through the top. And when you see, we'll turn this upside down. This will be the bottom, actually. And we screw it in until it's just tight. And we give it a couple turns. And so this is ready. Next step. Step 6. Okay. They want us to use these servo horns. These are the ones that look like airplane propellers. So the ones that look like crosses, I guess you can save them in case you have vampires. So we're going to throw those away. And we're going to use the ones that look like airplane propellers. We're going to put one on each of the second two motors. It says we got to cut them though. We got to cut one end off at the second hole. Okay. If you don't have a pair of these diagonal cutters, get one. They're really handy, easy to use, and I don't build things without one. Okay, so I'm cutting it right on the second hole like they show in the directions. Cut the second one right on the second hole again. Okay, the flat end goes down. And they want us to take the motor like this, put this on like this. And again, it should be able to turn 180 degrees. This way, 90 degrees, and the other way, 90 degrees, and that's fine. Okay. That's one engine motor tested. Now we're going to test the second motor. 190 degrees backwards and 90 degrees forwards. Okay, and then I bring it to center. That's it. That's that step. Step 7 is installing these motors into the feet. Okay, so I have the left and right feet here. Oh, they want us to put the servo horns on the motors. I guess I didn't know that. Okay, so we have servo horn 1. Now, be careful, they come off real easily. And we're going to put the flat part at the bottom. And this goes, I guess, with the hole here. I'm totally guessing. I don't know. I may have to go to the second step. The next step, step 8. Okay, so if you're looking at the hole, the servo looks like it's going to go this way, except guess what? This, again, this model, this is different. So maybe I grabbed the wrong instructions. I'm going to see later if I grab the wrong instructions, because this looks like it goes on the outside rather than the inside. So we're going to do that. We're going to put this here like that, stick it through like that. Looks like they moved it to the outside, and also this has to be trimmed again, because this doesn't fit. Pause it. So in this case, the directions I see have you putting in 2 screws. Well, this will only let us put in 1 screw. So we're going to put the motor inside. Which way are we going to put it? That's a good question. That gets squeezed into there, and as usual it doesn't fit. We need to trim it again. Trim it a little bit more. So I've left 3 holes there, and we're going to put that in there. Oh, wonderful. This won't fit in there with those. We have to trim that off. Again, these may be the instructions I'm reading for another model, and that's fine. We'll just go with it. Okay, so this doesn't fit either. Well, it fits barely. I'm going to trim off the rest of that other horn. Oh, what am I doing? We can just use the other horn from the other bag. We have 2 sets. Silly me. Okay. Since this looks like the horn that fits, we're going to put this in. Then we're going to attach the motor like this. And then we're going to, I don't know how that's going to attach. That just doesn't look right. But we'll figure it out. Maybe it has to attach to, oh, it's going to attach to the leg after that. Okay, so we're going to grab the little screw again, the tiniest screw. There'll be 2 of them left. We're going to put it right in there. That will attach the servo motor to the servo horn. And it works a whole lot better if it's centered. Okay, and just for fun, we're going to make sure we can go 90 degrees each way, and we can, just to make sure. I don't know if we need to trim that or not. I'm not going to trim it yet unless I know I have to. Okay, that's foot number 1. Let's get foot number 2 going. Since we know what we're doing this time, we grab the one that looks like a windshield wiper or a horn, not the propeller, not the cross, and we put it in place. Again, these tolerances are too tight. Right bit. Finally, I'm going to put that in place. And we're going to get the smallest screw. Put it into the servo horn. Make sure before you tighten it down that it is in the proper gear. If it doesn't match the gear, you could wind up stripping the gears. And like I said before, you'll be buying yourself new servo motors. Okay, so this is tightened up. 90 degrees that way, 90 degrees that way, and we're done with the feet. Next step. Step 9. We're going to install the feet into the legs. First, we're going to take the servo wire. There's 2 of them, obviously. And it looks like they both go into the slots. Let's see. Is that going to be right? No? What do you think? I have my helper here. What do you think, helper? That's going to be right. That matches up. Look. Okay.
The wire's going inside.
Yeah, it's hard to see from that picture where it's going. Okay, so we're going to put the foot over the servo magazine. Servo magazine. Hello, servo magazine. Yes, my good friends out at servo magazine. Put the foot over the top of the leg, and thus attaching the feet to the servo, to the leg rather. We're going to put the wire through the little slot here. Is this right? I don't know. I'm guessing. And let's just hedge our bets here. Let's just take a bigger guess and put the second leg on. And feed this wire up through the slot. Okay, now we have Otto. I don't know which is the front and which is the back. We'll guess this is the front, but I don't know for sure. So we have Otto with the 4 servo motors and the 2 legs. And let's go to step 10. Step 10 shows you putting the foot into the other leg. We've done that. Step 11, we've brought the servo motor wires down. Step 12, we're going to attach the servo motor, the foot servo motor, to the leg with one of the long screws. These screws are different than the other ones because they got a little edge on them, like a washer or a hat. All right, so we put that on there, and you can see the hole in there. And we're going to put this right through the little doorway. I'm going to put it upside down. So it goes through the doorway, right into that itty bitty hole, and we start turning, and I think we got it. And don't break anything. Am I attaching anything? That's the question. Oh, yes, okay. If you look through here, you can see the screw coming out the back end. Can you break it, brighten it up? Brighter? Focus? Yeah, so the screw's coming out here. So it looks like we've done it here. We're done. You can't tighten it down because there's a space in between here. So don't overdo it or it'll strip and it won't work anymore. Okay, let's do the other leg. Upside down. Again, you see the doorway, and there's a little hole there, kind of like a birdhouse. Got a little hole there. And let's do it this way until we can see it going through the servo horn. I'm sorry, not the servo horn. Through the servo, locking the servo in place. Is it locked in place? I don't know. Oops, I think we need to try it again. I think it's out of place. Yeah, the original one. Oh, I see what we have. It's not going through the doorway. So the screw was a little bit too wide for the doorway. I had to force it through. That's why it wasn't going far enough in. Now I see it coming through. Still, I didn't think it went the right spot. But it's still not going through. You can see it's stuck on the doorway. You see that? Oh, there we go. Pushed it through the doorway. Now it's grabbing that servo motor. Look, you can see the screw coming through the back way. It was getting caught up in the little doorway here where it attaches. Kind of clever. And that was step 12. Next is step 13. And this is easy. We take the microcontroller. I'm going to pull it off the styrofoam here. And it goes right onto the interface board. So if your pins are here, 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 and here, then we're going to put it this way. Don't put it backwards. And in other words, these pins will line up with these pins. You can see there's no pins on this side. Push it down nice and easy so all the pins are seated properly on both sides. If you bend a pin, you can bend it straight with a small, tiny pliers. But be careful, those pins will break off and you'll be putting new pins in it. Okay, so this thing has lots and lots of pins, and that's great. This interface would be good for a lot of different robots, but this is what we have, and this is what we're going to use. So moving right along, that was step 13. Step 14, we're going to start plugging things in. So really, now we're going to plug things in? Well, anyway, so we have the feet. So I'm going to label them this way. I don't get confused, because if I don't label them, I may be confused. And I don't want to be confused. I'm going to use a pencil, something I can take off later. Okay, so this is, the funny thing is I don't know which is front and back. I'm guessing this is front. So we're going to say, I'm going to put an F on the front for front. I'm going to call this right front, left front. And my left front foot, right front foot, left leg, LL, right leg. Now we can erase this later. Okay, so we're going to take the right foot, and let's start with the right, the right foot. Okay, this is the right foot, and it's going to go into pin 5. Now, you can see this is darker than the others. Some cases it'll be black. In this case, it's just brown. The darker one is ground and goes to the G row. Don't swap them or it doesn't work. It won't burn out, it just won't work. You can see the little tiny G there. So it goes to the outer row, the black one does. So this is set of pins 5. They're all numbered for our ease. And then foot left foot is going to go into 4. And make sure the colors are lining up. If the colors are all the same, lining up, you'll be good. And make sure your pins are lined up. You can't have it hanging off. Everything's got to be one on top of the other. You can see I got a bent pin here. I'm just going to take my fingernail, and pull it away from the other one. That's not working. So I'm going to use my pliers. I'm going to have to pull this off and straighten that out. Okay. These kind of pliers here, these flat pliers, little flat ones, these are good. These are really good. Okay, we're going to start all over again with the right foot into 5, row 5, right there, you can see the 5, left foot into row 4, keeping the black, or in our case, brown, to the outside row. Right leg is going to be 3. It's important you get it in the right place. If you don't have it in the right place, it won't work. And then left leg will be in 2. Okay. It says next we're supposed to upload the code. For those of you who don't program, that means put a program on here, an app. And we're going to move it from a computer to the microcontroller. But I'm not going to do that right now. We'll save that for another day. Next, we're gonna put the eyes in. When I say eyes, I do mean the distance sensor. They look like a pair of eyes, at least to me. Okay, so we put it so the pins are straight up, and it's going to go through the eye holes here. Hey, it fits. Alrighty then. And it looks like we're going to put some of those wires on it. It came with 2 sets of wires, a short set and a long set. They're both 4 wires long. I'm sorry, they're both sets of 4 wires. Which one do I use, the long set or the short set? I'm not sure. It doesn't say again. All right, so I'm going to page through the the thing and see if I can, oops, wrong way, the instructions and see if I can figure out. Okay, I'm going to try the long set, and if I'm wrong, well, we just switch it. So the first thing we do is we're going to plug all 4 of these in together and keep them in order. It doesn't matter whether it's white on one side or green on the other side, just keep them in order so you're not crisscrossing them. Okay, this is impossible, so I'm going to take it out and I'm just going to put them in. If you're really lucky, you can hold them side by side together and put them in like that. Hey, somebody got lucky. Okay, since that won't stay there, we're going to just take it out for now. They also have you putting 2 wires onto the microphone. Here's the microphone, here's 2 wires. Just push them in place. There's 1. And 2. Okay, that was step 15. Step 16. That's step 16? Oh, right. We're going to plug in the microphone and the distance sensor, the eyes. Okay, so this is really hard to see on the instructions because it's difficult to see. So we're going to start with the far left one. If you look really closely, you can see it says VCC. Okay? You may have different color wires, so let's just call it the first one on the left. This first one on the left, according to the instructions, goes to the set of pins number 9 on the ground, which is the outside edge. Okay, set of pins. I'll turn this around. Set of pins number 9 on the outside edge. Okay, the next one is called trig. If you look at it, it says trig. Oh, it doesn't go on the ground. That goes to the middle leg. I'm sorry. Take that off if you put it there and put it on the middle one. VCC actually means voltage. That's your voltage. And V is for voltage on your board. And yes, if you would have put that there, you would have burned it out. Okay, the second one is trig. And trig goes to ground. So pin number 8, ground. I'm sorry. I have somebody helping me here. It's a good thing. That's upside down. Actually, it's not upside down. I'm upside down. That goes to signal. Trig goes to signal on S. S is signal on pin set 8. It's a good thing I've got my helper here correcting my mistakes. All right, and taking this video. Echo. Echo is another pin, and that's on their diagram it's green. On mine it's purple, and that's going to ground. No, she says it's not going to ground. Signal. Yes, signal on pin 9, she says. Okay, signal on pin 9. It's a good thing you're here. I'd be telling these poor people how to do it wrong. Okay. She's going to keep me and make sure this thing happens in less than an hour just by making it work right. And the last pin is ground. So put that on ground 8. Ground 8. Row 8. To recap, your purple, your VCC goes to pin set 8, center. then I've got it wrong here because I have it on 8 center. Because I had the board upside down is the problem. You're saying I need my glasses? You're cute. Okay. Again, VCC, center of pin group 9. Trig, going to S, the inner thing on pin group 8. Echo, going to the edge, S, pin on pin group 9. And ground going to group 8 on the G. And my assistant here says I've got everything right. It's a good thing she's here. Okay, next they have you putting the board into the head of the robot. So let's put the board in. Let's make sure we can get the board in and out. Okay, so it's going to go eyes facing towards me, the hole facing the left. It's switched, isn't it? That's a mirror of this one. Okay, it goes this way. You have to have it so this thing here lines up with this hole. That's how you program it after it's all done. It's got to sit flat in there. Ah, it actually sit flat. And I'm going to try getting the eyes in here, the sensors in here with the wire. That's not going to work. This thing has to go in first, like they showed us. But it kept coming out, so I don't know. Okay, now the trick is once we got it in, to get it back out. Gosh. Tolerances are very tight in this thing. There. Okay, we're going to put the eyes in first. Don't make my mistake. And we're going to put the board in next, lining up that connector with the hole. Of course, it doesn't want to go in because the darn ping sensor is in the way. My daughter has got her hand in the works here. Maybe it'd be easier to put these wires in after we put the board in. Okay, I think it's all in. I hope nothing shorts out. I'm going to use my pliers to push it down. Oh, okay, we're on the bottom. Be careful though, because if you push too hard, well, the eye is off. If you push too hard, you will break things. And the board is just made of plastic. Every time I push that in, this eye wants to push out, which means it's not going past it for some reason. Ah, that's a problem. I can't drill this box any bigger. So these are kind of off a little bit. Again, tight tolerances. Well, this thing's lined up. And the power is lined up. And the board is not lined up. And neither is this ping sensor. So, and it won't go in. So I may have to make the eye holes a little bit bigger because there's just not enough play to move this, make this fit. So this has to come out again. Hopefully I don't break anything. I'm going to mark this in case one of the wires comes out. Do I have a white marker, silver marker? No, I think it's out in the garage. Where's your silver markers when you need them? All right. I know what I'll do. I'll use a black marker. Okay. So we're just I'm gonna mark the white with a black marker. I'm gonna mark the board here. So if it falls out, we'll know which way it goes. We won't have to read the pins again. Actually, I'm gonna remove these. Wow, this thing is not coming out too easily. I got the feeling I'm going to have to pull these pins out. Pause. Okay, with a lot of work, we removed the eyes, the sensor, and the boards from inside of the head. And we, upon closer look, these sensors are soldered in there, and they're just protruding just a whole way too far, and I need to cut that off. And that off, so the board can get past it. And I'm going to trim these up too, just in case. Again, this tool is invaluable when you're doing electronic work. So we're going to make sure that's clipped, and we should have a whole lot more room. And I'm going to just clip the other one because just get it out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to try again. You notice I took the wires off of everything because I couldn't even see what I was doing. Okay, now that's fairly flat. This thing should have some sort of a locking mechanism, but it doesn't. Okay, and we're going to put this back in, and it looks like it's going to go in place this time, I think. Okay, it's in place. Everything's in place this time. How the heck, what's to keep this thing in? Well, if I don't find some reason, some way of keeping this in, I'm going to add a dab of hot glue, because that always works for me. Okay, I need to reassemble this thing. I pulled out the leg motors, and I pulled out everything else. Okay, oh, we have this here. This is the microphone. Let's put the microphone in before I rewire this. Let's see what step that is. So we got the board in. That was step 17. Step 18 is attaching the board to the robot head. And they don't show you anything of how it works. So I will show you that. So it was a little bag of 4 screws. Here it is. This is what you use to attach your sensor board to the robot's head. Again, these are even tinier than the original ones and the other ones. So we're going to use our magnetic screwdriver. Drop it through the top. There's one. There's 2. Again, don't over tighten them. There's 3. And there's 4. We'll record something at the end to warn people to clip these off. All right, so now everything's in place. This thing's loose, and I don't know what, it's got holes for screws, but they didn't give you any screws for it, so I don't know how it's supposed to be tightened down. Anyway, let's see what the next step is. Oh, the battery box and the switch. Okay, there's the switch. And there's the battery box. So we're going to connect the battery box like this. And there's no instructions at all except, can you tell, is it, which wire goes where? Ends, it uses the ends, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to go. I think there's a little foul up here. That's not going to attach to that. That doesn't work there. And that means I've got to solder. Boy, what a pain in the butt kit. I don't know which ones to connect. I see red to red, green to green on opposite sides with the empty one in the middle, right? Can we zoom in on that? That's what it looks like, red, red, green, green. Okay, so this goes to here, and the other side goes to, I don't know. I don't know where it goes. Anyway, there's two more wires. Too bad they don't give you reds and greens. We're going to put one here, and look how well that attaches. Not at all. Somebody goofed. Okay, let's scroll down. I don't know what to do at this point besides solder. And I'm going to have to solder, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. Step 20. Oh, it says put your servo horn in place on the feet. Let's do that. Right. So the switch would go in this hole here, and my fat fingers can't fit in that hole. I've got some tweezers here. There's another valuable tool when you're working on electronics. Tweezers. Let's try that. That would go in here. I'm just trial fitting this. Hey, it fits. And then they hold it in place with a servo arm.
There's no place to hold it.
But there's no place to hold it in place with a servo arm. It doesn't lock in place. And again, that means I'm going to have to use a little bit of hot glue. So right now this kit needs hot glue and solder. I'm going to keep going through it and make sure there's any other deviations. Keep going. 22. Batteries. Okay. Page down. Okay, we're gonna put the microphone in right now. Okay, the microphone goes over here, and that has no way of locking it in place either. Absolutely no way to lock that in place. Again, hot glue. And the batteries will sit right in the middle. Let's see if it's going to fit. Try it the other way. Yes, it fits the other way. And assuming we solder the rest of it, because we're going to have to solder it. And I'm not going to teach you how to solder. If you don't know how to solder, you're going to have to find somebody who can teach you, because that's an hour or so in itself. We're just going to wrap everything together and see if it fits together is what I want to know. since we've been having trouble with so many other things. Ugh, just want to test it to see if it actually... Oh, I got wires hanging out. Damn. Hey, camera lady, how about telling me about the wires? Okay, we're going to try this again. Of course, the wires want to go right out the little hole. That's a lot of wires to jam in there. When I make the bigger one, it should be easier. And you're going to have to push wires out of the way. You can see that wires just wants to get right in the way and get caught up. Okay, that side's closed. That's got a wire sticking out. That side's closed. And that's what it would look like. That's what it will look like after I finish soldering it. So the next step is to solder those wires that can't be put together without soldering. Pause the camera. So I've removed the board again because I have to solder the battery box and the switch, the on-off switch, to the board. Now it's kind of tricky where to solder it. You have to turn it over. And then when you turn it over, you can see that you have G and D and VIN. That's where the ground goes, and that's where the plus from the switch goes. And I'm going to do those in a minute. Probably not holding the phone. My camera lady has taken a break, so I'll do as much as I can, solder, and then turn the video back on. So basically, according to the diagram, which I found out, because this is step 22, I have to solder this. The black wire goes from G and D to the battery box. The red wire, a separate red wire, goes from V in to the switch. And they tell you V in as opposed to the other one, which is VCC. You don't want VCC, you want VIN, voltage in. Okay, so just to show you briefly, I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but we'll try it. So this is going to go through the hole that's here, and that'll be soldered from the bottom. And then on a red wire, I've got a red wire here, right here. That's an extra red wire I have from my own kit. And I have to take the end off of it. I know what I'll do. I'll use the vise here to hold the camera. Put the vise in the right spot. And point it at the table. So this is here, and we're going to take the other wire and strip some of the plastic off of it, the insulation. Here's another tool that you'll want if you get into electronics. This is a wire stripper. This one is a Data Shark. Works really well. I've had it for quite a few years. Okay, so you can see we've got that plastic covering off the insulation off the wire. This is my own wire, and I'm going to twist it a little bit and stick it through the hole. Of course, the other one's already out. So that was the second from the end of that group there. And then this one goes to the end of that group there. came out. I have to twist it a little bit better. Make it pointy. Okay, that one goes here. Definitely helps to have good eyesight. And the other one. Well, I'm going to need an extra hand, and I'll have to call my daughter in to help me. So this is going to go here on V in. This is going to go here on G and D, ground. And they will be soldered. I'll also need to solder. I think I'll need to solder the switch. Let me see if this will connect or not. No, it's too loose. It'll fall right off. You can see that. So this end will need to be soldered as well. Okay. So as you can see, I've soldered the one side, the red wire coming from the battery box, to one side of the switch. And the other side goes down to the board, to VIN. And the black coming off the battery box is then soldered to GND. Now, if you've never soldered before, I recommend you having a friend or parent, if you're a kid, help you with this. Soldering can give you bad burns, very bad burns. Anyway, this is done and we can proceed. And now that I've got everything soldered, I can reassemble things. So we're going to put the board back in, the microcontroller and sensor, well, interface board. Pause that. Okay, so now we got to put this back in, move our sensors to the front, put this in behind it. And of course, as we remember from last time, it was made just a teensy tiny little bit too small. You gotta jam it in there. Okay, that's lined up. This is lined up. That's in there. And the battery box is here. And we gotta put the wires back together to join the legs to the head. So I need to get my diagram back. Okay, we have the right foot going to group 5. It's a whole lot harder to plug these in when it's inside the head. Right to group 5, right foot. Left foot to pin group 4. Again, don't forget, keep the darker pin on the outside. That's your ground. On mine it's brown, some of them it's black. Okay. The right leg to group 3. And of course I've done these backwards. This needs to go to the other side. Whole lot harder inside here. Okay, to group 3. Helps if you have long, thin fingers. Helps a lot here. And then finally, the left leg to pin group 2. Double checking to make sure all my brown wires are on the outside. Okay, those look good. Okay, now we're going to connect the connect up the sensor again. I'm going to use the shorter set of wires. I'm going to switch it from what I did earlier, and my colors will probably be different than yours. Let's start with the white. And the white is on well, let's do it the way we did it before. We'll start with the gray. The gray is on VCC, and that goes to pin. I have to make my drawing smaller. I can't see it. Okay, VCC goes to pin set 9, center terminal for V voltage. Pin set 9, center terminal V for voltage. Okay, next one is trig. Trig goes to sensor, and that would be pin set 8, S for sensor. Or signal, actually. And I just pulled it out of that side. Put in one and pulled out the other. These are not exactly these are not tight at all. I don't know, this may have to be replaced. Yeah, this one's no good. This is absolutely no good. This has to be replaced. Okay. We're going to use a different wire. I'm going to have to get a wire from my wire kit. Just a second. What color was that, Maya? Purple? Okay, let's see if I have a short purple. Oh, what was that? That's brown. We're going to use brown. That's pretty short. Not as short as I like, but pretty short. So we just had a defective wire. That's why it pulled off so easily. Okay, and this one goes, this is trigger, and it goes to pin 8 set S. Okay, next one in line is echo, goes to S on pin set 9. I need more light. That didn't go in. I'm going to use my pliers since I can't get it in with my fat fingers. And I put it in and pulled it right back out. Oh, finally. All right. That was the S pin in pin group 9 for echo, and then ground. My ground is white. Your ground would probably be a different color. We're going to put that on 8 ground. Pin set 8 ground. Okay, that's it. Now please be aware, there are 2 sets of numbers. One set beginning with A's. Don't even go there. Don't bother with the A's. Go to the other set. The A's go 0 to 7. The other numbers go 0 to 13. Stay with the higher numbers on the top. Don't touch the A numbers. Okay, next we're going to hook up the microphone. And the microphone goes to pin set 13, G and S. Now it doesn't, they're saying it does. It does. Okay, so there's a plus on your, there's a very tiny plus sign on one side of your microphone. You can see it here. That needs to go to the S side of pin set 13. And the other one goes to the ground on pin set 13, the G. Like I said, it's a whole lot harder to put these in once you've got it in the robot's head. That one doesn't want to go down. Let's try turning it a little bit. Maybe this one's bad too. Oh, got it in. Okay. Now, that's all together. We're going to run a small test before we start gluing things in. We do have to glue things in because a lot of it won't stay in put without a little bit of hot glue. If you're a child, please don't use hot glue by yourself. Ask your parents to help you. If you're an adult, of course, I'm sure you've burnt your hands before with hot glue. So I'm going to put my batteries in now. I had another battery, so let me use this set. So we're going to put our 4 batteries in. I'm going to see if this thing lights up. The bottom line is right now it should light up and do nothing else because we haven't got a program in it. Okay, so here's the switch. We turn on the switch. Let's look and make sure nothing happens. Go from the top. Hold it still. You see any lights in there? No?
No.
Well, that's disappointing. All right, we're going to pause this and come back to it when we figure out what's wrong with it. All right, so it was one of these wires had come loose, that's all. I fixed it, it's all working, and watch what happens when we press the button, press the magic button. Ooh, let there be red lights. Very good, very good. We got 2 red lights going on, that's a good sign. Gonna shut it off now. And the next step is to attach the microphone and the switch and the eyes, the distance sensor to the robot itself, because it's kind of, they're all, nothing's holding them into place, and the instructions that they gave were wrong for this model. Anyway, so I'm going to push these eyes all the way to the front. Well, I'm going to leave a little gap I'm going to squirt some hot glue in there on both sides and then push it flat. And burn my finger! Ow! Oh, oh, oh. Yes, my daughter's saying, why didn't you use the pliers? 2020 hindsight. All right, those are nicely in place. Wonderful. Next is the microphone. It goes here, and where that little circle is with the holes. So we're just going to place it and put it in place, and put a couple of drops of hot glue on top of it. That's not working. That's going right on top of the wires. I have my other hot glue gun. Is that hot yet? Yes, barely. Okay. You just need a glob in there, really, to hold it from moving. Good. I've got a glob in there. Nice big glob. All right. Let's let that cool off and so it can set up. Next, we're going to take the switch. That goes on the opposite side. Push that down in the hole there. And don't take out your microphone while you're putting in your switch. Technically, you should let them both dry or cool anyway. And we're going to push it down in the hole. And we're going to probably push it the other way down in the hole. Maybe it's rectangular and not square. Maybe I'm just dreaming it'll go in that hole. We're going to use the pliers since my fingers are way too big for this. We're going to shut it off. Okay, that's all the way down in the bottom. It just turned it on. That doesn't want to sit there. Maybe I should have glued it. Nah, that wouldn't work. Okay. That's down the bottom. Let's see if I can get it to stay down the bottom. The wires want to pull the darn thing out. Put some pressure on the wires. Okay, there we go. Down the bottom. I can see it coming through the bottom. Just double check it. I'm going to put a nice big glop of hot glue right on top of that puppy. Okay, I'll let these cool there. I better hold on to it. It wants to pull itself right out of place. Okay, we're holding on to it. Of course, the next step is programming this thing, assembling it and programming it. That'll be coming in a minute. Believe it or not, programming it, since we're just going to use somebody else's program, is going to be hopefully the simplest part of this. I'm trying to cool this thing down. I have a fan here. Oh look, it's my smallest fan. Can you pull that wire loose? Thank you. I got too many things filled up over here. There, it's in and working. A whole lot easier than blowing on it. Looks like it's almost set up. Just going to put this fan on it to cool off that hot glue. Okay, that looks like it's cool enough to assemble. So the next problem comes, how are we going to get all these darn wires inside that one little box? First of all, we have to put the battery box in, and that's going to go between those wires coming up from the feet. Okay, the battery box is in. Yay. Okay, and we're going to turn them around, which is front. Again, this is front. That's right. We're going to try to, we're just going to give this a quick spin. Well, maybe the other way. A quick spin to kind of wrap those wires, roll those wires up so So they'll be a little bit more compressed. That's the theory anyway. Okay, we've got that in. Something's stopping it. All that wire is stopping it. We're going to untwist that. Usually twisting works, but in this case it's not. Okay, we're going to fold that under. Something's stopping the front of it to go from going down. Let's take a look. Probably the wires. The wires needs a space there for the... whoever said this could be done in an hour had probably built 1,000 of them. And yes, it can be done in an hour if you've built 1,000 of them. And that wire just doesn't want to come out. That means I've got to raise up the battery box to get the darn wire out. There. Wire out. Good. Okay, we're going to try that again. This time we're going to put the front in first. Yes, I see. We have wires hanging out. We have wires hanging out of everywhere. There's too many wires in this damn thing. And that still doesn't want to go in. Oh, look, that wire just decided to plop itself right back in place. All right, let's try this. I see what's going on. These things need to be a little bit more forward. So they missed the battery box. The battery box has got to be... Oh, this is complicated. This has got to be to the side. The battery box needs to make room. How the hell do they do this? Oh, did I say that? Okay, so these little connectors here have to be in front of the battery box or it'll never close. Why did they make this damn thing so tiny? And I've got wires in the back. Of course I do. This thing does not want to go together. It just says, no, I don't want to be a robot. I just want to be a stack of parts. That's not going to go in there. Those things are still in the way. You can see they have a little cutout there. I suppose I could glue those down. Let me bend. These things are on wires. They're bendable. I'm going to push them towards the front of there and wrap these wires around the side. And then I'm going to do something, hopefully that's smart, and I won't really get myself into any trouble doing this. I'm going to put a dab of hot glue on it without burning my finger. That's the goal anyway, not burning the fingers. Okay, I'm going to try closing this son of a gun up again. Ooh, getting close there. Push these wires out of the way. Oh, look at that. That little red wire wants to come out, like little snakes in here. Okay, front is going in. This side is almost in. That side is caught on a wire. Of course it is. I don't know if there's any room in here to push these wires on. Oh, that's actually It's done. It's together. It's together. Get this hot glue off of here. Look, it's together. It's done. It's wonderful. And let's turn it on. It's not turning on. Ow, that's hot. Okay, how do I know it's on? I look for the red lights. I can't see the red lights. Is it on? Is it together? I don't know. Did you hear anything? I'd really like a real switch down here. Oh, I hear something. The ping sensor's pinging. I put it close to the microphone. Here. This is good. What are you doing? Oh, the red lights are on. Good. Maybe I didn't have them on. Push the button in far enough. All right. So next stage is programming this little puppy.